Welcome to today's class. My name is Dr. Godwin Ude. I will be your facilitator today on today's class. Today we're going to be looking at transformational leadership, which is part of our leadership course. And we are going to be considering the topic, transformational leadership in 21st century. We're going to be looking at how important it is, and we're going to be also considering some live examples, individuals who displayed these categories or types of leadership standards. Before we start, I would like to get to know some of you, especially those of you who joined the class newly. James, this is the first time I'm seeing you in the class. Is this one of your electives? Oh, sure. Good. Welcome to class. All right. So you can introduce yourself to your classmates and get to know yourselves, and then create a rapport. Great. Let's begin by asking a very simple question, and hopefully some of you will be able to attempt the answer. First, when you hear the names like Steve Jobs, Nelson Mandela, Malala Yousafzai, what comes to mind? Yes, Nelson Mandela was the former president of South Africa. Thank you, Brad. But you should also know that he was in prison for his conviction that apartheid should be stopped in South Africa. And he never gave up his conviction, even after spending 27 years in solitary confinement in jail, right? So, Steve Jobs, he was a great leader, an innovative leader. Good. So, name other examples with people that you admire. Barack Obama, awesome. That's another suggestion. Sharon, thank you for bringing that up. We're going to look at how these individuals shaped their communities, their countries, their companies. And also, by the end of today's class, you would realize that leadership is very dynamic, and that people have what it takes to lead if they're willing to apply themselves to it. And you will also learn that leaders are made and not just born. Circumstances produce leaders. Correct. Okay. Now, looking at transformational leadership in 21st century as a powerful tool for change, we're going to look at the 4 categories or key components of transformational leadership. There are 4 of them. One is the idealized influence. We're going to discuss that in detail. The second one is inspirational motivation. The third one is intellectual stimulation. And the last one is individualized consideration. Let's take the first one here. Idealized influence is a type of transformational leadership that most of you may be familiar with because it deals with leadership where an individual comes up with an idea, something you might consider as a timely idea, and he proposes that idea, and it catches fire, and everyone rallies around that idea, and the idea becomes a tool for change, for social change, social reconstruction. You probably know of Barack Obama. I think someone mentioned it when we're starting. Yeah, he could be considered as one of the idealized transformational leaders whose influence cut across racial barriers because he had a message and he communicated that message. He had an idea and he communicated that idea, and it resonated to a lot of people. And people rallied around that idea, and that gave United States of America the first Black president. Right. So if you look at the next one, which is inspirational motivation, you are looking at transformational leaders who are so gifted in area of inspiration and motivation, the ability to inspire people and inspire followers, communities and countries or employees to achieve a set goal, to hit a certain mark, to accomplish what most people consider impossible. A person who comes to mind, can any one of you suggest someone who comes to mind? Winston Churchill? Yes. Excellent. Thank you. Winston Churchill was a great leader. He was the prime minister, former prime minister of Britain during the time of Second World War, when the Nazi Germany invaded Britain. He rallied the country and they came together. He was known to have used his skills in eloquence, in motivation, inspirations to inspire the country with the help of the Allied forces. They were able to defeat the Nazi Germany and restore peace. His skill as the leader, inspirational leader, came to fore during the time of crisis. In other words, leadership oftentimes, come into realization. Maybe leaders consider themselves as leaders, even though they have been leading all this while, but crisis oftentimes bring their leadership skills to fore, to the point where they recognize it and others recognize it in them. All right. So the third one is intellectual stimulation. Great transformational leaders, some of them are intellectuals. They have innovative ideas and they provide solutions to problems in the community and the society. Who comes to mind? Steve Jobs. Great. Tom, that was smart of you. Yeah. Steve Jobs was a great leader. He wasn't just a CEO. He was a hands-on leader. That's one thing that you find about transformational leaders. They are hands-on leaders. That means they are involved in the process of leadership and they provide solution, practical, tangible solution. People follow them because they are not just people sitting down somewhere giving directions. They are also involved in the process of transformation. And that brings what we might call trust and inspire people to pursue a goal requires a high level of trust. That was a good example, Tom. All right, the last one is individualized consideration. When a leader becomes focused towards helping an individual change. This is what you find in most religious sectors, and also even in corporate environment. There are leaders who know the birthdays of their employees and even their family members. It's very rare, but it's beyond just the bottom line or the target of the company. This group of leaders or group of leaders, they care so much about individuals. Their emotional intelligence are very high, emotional quotient very high. They are compassionate, they have great abilities, they have great aspirations, and the followers follow them because these leaders have empathy, they display empathy, they seek the well-being of the followers. And you have a lot of examples you can come up with. Yeah, Mother Teresa, good example. Yeah, Grace, that was a nice one. Mother Teresa was a great example of an individualized consideration, transformation, leadership. All right, because of our time, we'll look at these 4 categories of key components of transformational leadership, and we'll find there's a common trait. These individuals do not just care about the results, they care about the people. Don't forget this. So as you embark on your leadership journey or try to uncover your leadership trait or skills, never forget that the process is as important as the goal. In all the people we mentioned, they never just cared about what they wanted to accomplish as leaders. They also cared about the people who would help accomplish these goals. So let it be a lesson for all of us that together we can accomplish more. Not only will we accomplish more, but our lives will also improve and we will find meaning in what we do as leaders. You want to ask the question, James? Okay, go ahead. You said, are people born to lead and others not born to lead? Is that your question? All right, James, I said when we started, yes, everyone can lead. You can lead. Lead with what you have. Lead with who you are. There's leadership in you. Let it be the lesson you take from this. And thank you. We'll be with you by this time next week. I hope to see you guys all in class again. Thank you.